Imagine a world where no one could say help, fire, or even a name. For millions of years, humanity lived in complete silence. Every day was a battle for survival. Predators hunted from the shadows, food was scarce, and one mistake could mean death. They couldn't speak, but they weren't silent. Eyes, hands, facial expressions, and warning cries carried messages.
Gestures worked only when everyone could see each other. Beyond the next hill or inside the darkness, communication simply disappeared.
Without language, there were no stories, no plans for tomorrow, and no way to teach the next generation everything they had learned. Yet inside their skulls, something extraordinary was happening. Over hundreds of thousands of years, the human brain was quietly transforming. Then came fire. It frightened predators, cooked food, and gathered families together for hours after sunset.
Fire brought us together. The nights were long, but the fire kept us safe. We shared stories. We learned to make tools. Every sound carried meaning. A scream meant danger. A laugh built trust. A baby's cry demanded protection. Emotion came long before words. Then, somewhere in Africa, one sound became more than a cry. It carried an idea, and humanity's greatest invention was born. To survive, humans had to work together. Hunting giant animals demanded planning, trust, and better ways to communicate. Perhaps for the first time, familiar sounds became names. Names for rivers, animals, people, and the places they called home. Simple sounds grew into combinations. Inside our DNA, small genetic changes helped fine-tune the brain for the remarkable ability we call speech. A more flexible tongue, improved breath control, and a different voice box allowed humans to create thousands of unique sounds. Around the fire, gestures became stories. Every hunt, every danger, every lesson could now be shared with the entire tribe. For the first time, wisdom no longer died with its owner. Language allowed knowledge to travel across generations. Every conversation strengthened memory, imagination, and planning. Language didn't just change humanity, it changed the human brain. As people spread across Africa, isolated communities slowly developed different accents, words, and ways of speaking. When humans left Africa, they carried an invisible invention more powerful than any tool: language. As humans settled across continents, isolated communities slowly created their own languages. One became hundreds, then thousands. Long before alphabets, people painted stories onto stone. Images became humanity's first permanent messages. As farming created permanent settlements, people needed better ways to record food, trade, and ownership. Around 5,000 years ago, symbols pressed into wet clay changed history forever. Writing had begun. The earliest known written language was Sumerian, spoken in the great cities of southern Mesopotamia. Along the Nile, Egyptian scribes transformed language into beautiful hieroglyphs carved onto temples and monuments. Soon, many civilizations developed their own writing systems, preserving ideas that would outlive empires. For the first time, ideas could survive centuries. Writing allowed one generation to speak directly to another thousands of years later. But language continued to evolve. New alphabets would soon replace complex symbols and give ordinary people the power to read and write. Early writing systems were powerful, but difficult. Mastering thousands of symbols required years of dedicated training. Trade expanded rapidly. Merchants needed writing that ordinary people could learn, not only elite scribes. Then came a breakthrough. The Phoenicians reduced writing to only a few dozen symbols representing sounds. Phoenician ships carried more than goods. They carried an alphabet that spread across the Mediterranean. The Greeks improved the alphabet by introducing vowels, making written language easier to read than ever before.
The Romans adapted this alphabet into Latin script, the ancestor of English and many modern languages. Across Asia and the Middle East, remarkable writing systems flourished, each reflecting its own civilization. Knowledge no longer depended on memory alone. Libraries became humanity's collective brain. Every script looked different, yet each served the same purpose: to preserve ideas and connect generations. Another revolution was coming. The printing press would spread knowledge farther than humanity had ever imagined. For centuries, every book was copied by hand. A single manuscript could take years to complete.
Books were so valuable that only kings, monasteries, and wealthy scholars could afford them. Around 1450, a German inventor named Johannes Gutenberg imagined a faster way to spread knowledge. The Gutenberg Bible proved that books could finally be produced faster, cheaper, and with remarkable precision. Printing presses multiplied across Europe, carrying books into cities, universities, and ordinary homes. As books became common, literacy grew rapidly, unlocking science, exploration, and new ideas. For the first time, ideas could cross entire continents within months instead of generations. The printing press began an information revolution that would eventually lead to newspapers, computers, and the internet. From campfire stories to digital conversations, language became humanity's greatest invention, connecting billions across time and space. Every word you speak carries the echoes of countless generations. Language didn't just change humanity, it created the world we know today.